Assalamualaikum Wr.Wb. This is presentation from Group 3 about connotation words. The members is Fina Rahmawati, Nandhita, Ayun, Puspita, Anisvi, Yunar, Nabilla, Bidayah, Warisman, Lusyana Tri Rahmawati. The material is what is connotation, examples of connotations, types of connotations, importance of connotations, related term, double entendre, homonym, conclusion. In this slide, we will explain about what is connotation. A connotation is a feeling or idea that a word has, in addition to its literal or main meaning, the denotation. Often, a series of words can have the same basic definitions, but completely different connotations. These are the emotions or meanings implied by a word, phrase, or thing. For example, this clothing is affordable versus this clothing is cheap. Here, affordable sounds much better than cheap because the word cheap also implies low quality. And then, examples of connotation. Connotation is an additional meaning for a word or phrase. Thus, the examples are endless. As mentioned, many words will share the same literal meaning, but may connote different feeling or ideas. Below are several examples: stand, smell, scan, other, strong, tall, sturdy, hard, proud, confident, arrogant, egotistical, childish, childlike, young, youthful, rich, loud, privileged, wealthy, affluent, broke, poor, impoverished, frugal, economical, stingy, cheap, tempting, attractive, interesting, rare, storyteller, vapor, independent, unfriendly, private, standoffish. Think of this word used in the similar conversation. For example, imagine the difference between describing someone as a strong woman or a sturdy woman. Because of this word connotations, the first implies that she is strong emotionally, while the second implies that she is a sturdy physically. Now, apply these two terms to a table. A strong table and a sturdy table have essentially the same meaning. And then, type of connotation. Most of the examples above can be categorized as having either positive, negative, or neutral connotation, or sometimes both positive and negative, depending on how they are used. 1. Positive. A word whose connotation implies positive emotion and associations. For example, the aroma of my grandmother's cooking produced a positive association because the word aroma implies that the smell is pleasing and inviting. B. Negative. A word whose connotation implies negative emotions and associations. If we exchange the adjective aroma in the above sentence so that it now reads, the stench of my grandmother's cooking, the meaning changes completely. So both aroma and stench mean smell. Stench has a negative connotation. Thus, the meal sounds much less appealing. C. Neutral. A word whose connotation is neither positive or negative. For example, when speaking about a pet, the word dog has a neutral connotation, but the word moth has a negative connotation, and the word poor bird has a positive connotation.
Importance of connotation. Most words have two meanings, a denotative or literal meaning and a connotative or implied meaning. It is important to note that not all connotations are solely positive or solely negative. Depending on how a word is used, It can connote different things. Thus, it is one of the most critical things to consider when it comes to word choice. Input, literature, and everyday conversation. In fact, the feelings or meanings associated with words can be everything. Connotation set the tone when writing and speaking, and clarify one's intention. They can elicit certain emotion or reaction or help to provide distinct impression of things. Conversely, choosing words with the wrong connotation can produce an undesired reaction or emotion and misrepresent one's intention. Related terms. Number 1. Denotation. While connotation is a word implied meaning or feeling, a denotation is a word literal meaning, its definition. The two are directly connected. A word connotation is essentially a positive or negative extension of its denotation. To understand a word denotation is to understand its basic definition. Number 2. Double entendre. A double entendre is a word or phrase that has two meanings, usually one obvious and one subtle. It is a way of saying something so that it can be understood in two different ways, which makes it a very popular tool in comedy. A typical comedy routine on television might involve parents who create a double entendre so that their kids don't know what they are talking about. For example, "Mommy needs her medicine" really means "Mommy needs her wine." The difference between a double entendre and a connotation is that a double entendre is usually an assigned meaning, while a connotation is an implied meaning. Homonym. A homonym is a word that is spelled one way but has two meanings. For example, rage, as in a rage of people, and rage as in a running competition. Likewise, a tree has bark, and a dog makes the sound bark. A homonym is different than the connotation because the word literal. Denotative meanings are different. The words solely share the same spelling. Conclusion. In conclusion, connotation can be everything in language. It gives further meaning to words and creating positive and or negative implication for words that have the same principal meaning. Without connotation, language would be much more limited, stagnant, and inflexible, in other words, or boring. Example of connotation in common speech. There are many words that can be understood as synonyms with the same definition, yet their connotations are notably different. For example, house versus home. Both words refer to structure in which a person lives, yet home connotes more warmth and comfort, whereas house sounds colder and more distant. Cheap versus affordable. Well put, words mean that something does not cost a lot. Cheap can also connote something that is not well made or of low value, while affordable can refer to a quality item or service that happens to be well priced. Riots versus protests. The difference between these two words is that riots connotes a violent gathering of people who are not necessarily in the right, while protest can have a more peaceful connotation and is often used when there is sympathy with the protesters. The connotations of words can also change drastically from one culture to the next. For example, to call someone fat in some cultures is a huge insult, whereas in others, it connotes that the person is healthy and well-fed. Significance of connotation in literature. Connotations play a role in almost every type of communication, as it adds nuance and more subtle meaning. Authors use connotation to allow the readers to infer more meaning than there is explicitly written on the page, making the readers more active part of the interpretive process. Example of connotation in literature. Example number 1. My mistress eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts argent? If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. In this famous sonnet, Shakespeare compares his lover unfavorably to many wonderful things. Shakespeare used the sun, the coral, and the snow to connote beauty, love, and purity. By saying that his lover is not like any of these things, she carries none of their connotation. Therefore, she is not beautiful and certainly not pure or innocent. Okay, for the presentation of Group 3 has finished. Apologize if in the delivery of the material there are still many mistakes in pronunciation. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.